Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. Tonight, we got a special couple of guests. They're called the Bocock Brothers, Bryant and Douglas. These young men are both Honduran. They live here in Houston, Texas, and they have started their own cigar company called Bocock Brothers Cigars. Let me bring in the Bocock Brothers and let's get this show rolling.
Got it.
Gentlemen, how are you today?
Good afternoon. Doing well. We got ourselves a little Zacapa 23.
Nice.
With some an Habano Bocock Brothers.
That's what I got.
What's
Bocock?
Madurito. And Madurito, the Bocock Brothers World Traveler Collection. And we're being cocky today.
Oh, we got to be cocky today. That's right. Be cocky with Bocock.
We got to be cocky. You know, we're working on our mascot, Boston. and you know, it's the name is going to be Bo, B-E-A-U.
Maybe we add the X on there because he's Cajun.
Because he's a Cajun Bo. I have no idea. Yeah, Bo.
Just for the audience, let's make sure everybody's clear who's who. Okay, yes. Who's Bryant and who's Douglas?
I'm Bryant Bocock, and this is my brother,
Doug Bocock. Younger brother, better looking.
I was going to say older, younger. So we got younger on the left, older on
the
right.
Not fraternity brothers.
No,
real
blood brothers.
You are blood brothers. Same mother, same father.
Mothers. Yes.
That is awesome. So born and raised in Honduras.
Correct. Born and raised in Honduras.
So our family, you know, my father is, I mean, actually, I still don't understand the whole story of my family because every time I talk to people, it changes. But my dad was a Chiquita Banana guy, you know, moved down to Honduras, and we have 7 siblings altogether, 4 from his first marriage. And then 3 with my mother, and so he remarried my mother after his first wife passed, unfortunately. And then, of course, we have my brother Brian, myself as a second sibling, and my sister Lily. And honestly, we're all part of this venture. You know, my sister helps us do fulfillment. We do all kinds of crazy things. Our family's big, and we all. My brother in Florida, he helps us out with some sales. So it's a family affair, Boston Jimmy.
And this whole kind of thing didn't start with cigars. If I understand correctly, in my little research and the review I just put out on your Maduro,
yes,
Bryant, you were a nightclub owner and manager.
Yes. I worked in the hospitality industry, and you know, I realized that that's not where I wanted to go, but I did want to utilize the experience that I had, and went down to Honduras. Went back home after finishing college, graduating, and going down there and opening up a rooftop nightclub. That was a vision of mine. I don't know. I got inspired with a few places in Beirut, and you know, I like to travel a lot, and built this club. Now, the problem was the real estate was very expensive, and we had to pay rent. So in order, you know, the nightclub was only functioning, you know, as you know, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But what was the rest? What were we going to do for the rest of the days? It was just, we still had to pay rent.
Expensive ass rent too,
expensive
though.
Ass rent. So that's where a sushi bar came in. We did a coffee shop, and then we did. Then we said, this is in 2012, and then we said, well, we should, you know, we live in Honduras. Danlí is only about 2 hours away from here. Let's open up a humidor. So we teamed up with some fellows, some good, you know, some cigar makers and master blenders, and started a cigar club in Honduras in 2012.
Wow.
So that's where it all started.
10 years ago. Wow.
Yes. And we started doing that. Rocky would come on, and so many others, you know, Island Jim, and many cigar makers came over and did their sunsets in the rooftop, is what we called it. and presented the cigars, and they would bring rollers up, and really, really fun. And then just I started selling Cubans to the U.S. Embassy. They loved it.
There's a big U.S. Military base, Sotocano, and then there's obviously U.S. Embassy, and the only place they were allowed to go, because it was owned by U.S. people, right? So you think about, nightclub in Honduras. Oh man, that sounds shady, right?
Right.
And it wasn't. It was a proper location with plenty of security, top of the line, food, wine, everything, and so they had vetted this place and said, this is the only place you guys can go.
Yep.
So as you can imagine, we had all of the people from the embassy, from the Sotocano, and we also had some dignitaries as well from the USDA. You had the people from El Alto Comisionado de la from what do you call it? Anyways, a lot of dignitaries. So it was a really good, fun place to be, Boston. It was like Havana in the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
For a little bit. For a little bit. And then great things don't ever last long, right? And Brian can kind of talk to you a little bit about some of the nuances.
No gambling in this place. No.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Oh,
but
okay, it's one of those.
It was a fun place on the tallest building in Tegucigalpa, and it was just a place full of excitement. Selling, I was selling Bejiques, Cohibas for $100 a pop, and they were loving it. So I was like, dude, we this is really fun. This is good, and so that's where it all started. Boston, Jimmy.
Yeah, we ended up, of course, creating our own blend as well. So we said, okay, well, this is fun. We can work with.
Well, that happened. So hold on. Let's put the timeline in place. So we got 2012. You're doing a nightclub. Eventually, you roll in, put in humidor. You start doing the cigars. You're having these parties. You're meeting people. You're meeting people at different levels of society, different levels of the cigar industry, and were you both in Honduras at that time? Because the story has you going, I think, back to Houston for a while. So
yes,
where does the timeline go now?
That's correct. It was just me there in Honduras, managing it, running it, and it was full of adventures. Full of extortion, full of craziness. Being followed at night. I don't want to put Honduras in a bad spot. It was just, it's so much exposure there. It's a beautiful country. Don't get me wrong. It's that's why I went back, because I saw it's just such a beautiful place, but a very, very complicated, and anyone can tell you this, complicated place to do business. And they even say Honduras is a place where the corkscrew sinks and the iron floats. And so everything's
backwards, right?
That's home. But that's
so home. We love it. That's home, and that's many people don't understand. That's one thing that we'd like to say, and they don't know. It's that that's our home. That's where we were born and raised, and that's how we are able to maneuver and move around these very turbulent places and be able to be successful.
But and so during that time I was in the U.S., Boston, Jimmy. I was working in logistics, sending money down for this venture, and only to see the money just disappear. And send me more. We need we need more of this, more of that. And it got to a point where it just the business went south after a while. We had done a blend for the club itself, so we had experimented. And of course, I was coming in and out as much as I could to help. He says to party. Probably part of it was to go just have a great time. I bring all my buddies from Baton Rouge, Houston, and we just had a blast. I was in my early 20s and stuff. So we of course had a great time. Brian, fast forward, club closes. Brian ends up in Houston. Kind of a bit defeated. Just like shit. This was fun, but what did we learn? Well, we learned that we can't do a nightclub in Honduras anymore. And so you
gotta get a real job.
You got to get a real job. But in the meantime, he's sitting there, creating this logo. He had already paid a marketing firm to create the Bocock Bros, right? So the Bocock, is a cock, right? A rooster with a bow tie. That's our last name, And we've always wanted to do apparel or do something fun with it. And that's when it clicked. Brian's like, man, I want to do cigar line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do a cigar line. I loved it. This was the camaraderie. I met so many people. The Americans really love it. We can bring our Honduran brand to the US and market it. And, this was probably anywhere between 2015 to 2018. I mean, we slept on this idea many times and we said, we're going to make some money at some point, right?
But prior to that, we did these blends, and I went, I spent many nights, many weeks in Danlí, and I spent the night over many of the Cuban, because these plantations, well, it's owned by the Plasencias, but they have relatives and cousins, and stayed with the cousins there at their homes and learned to do the blends. So it's not like I just made a phone call and have, hey, make this for me. I actually had to go there because I was an unknown. And it's not.
You actually got your hands dirty in the blend.
Yes.
Tasting, going through different bales, tasting leaf.
The leaf, the process, the fermentation.
This was all new to you. This part was all new to you.
Oh, it was completely new. I was like, man, this is hard. How do you? And then our master blender was. Can you make, because a lot of, and this is something that I want to tell you guys. It's a lot of people say, is it cocoa-y? Is it sweet? Is it vanilla-y? Sure, it has those elements. But you explain that to somebody, a master blender, or somebody who's there, they just laugh in your face. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Vanilla? What? It's like
those are gringo terms.
Those are gringo. Leather. There's no leather on the sand. He would grab the mud and he said, "Where the hell's the leather?" So it was. And I was just trying to say, but I would like it a little sweeter and a little more pepperminty, and they would just get frustrated with me. So we were just speaking two different languages altogether. But those things, they are real. They are there. But it's combining soil with plant with temperature, and that's what causes and creates those wonderful, miraculous tastes.
And it's leaf working with other leaf that
just like cooking, right?
Tricks on your palate,
like cook. You have the curry and you have the spice and so it's a beautiful thing, and I was glad that I did that the hard way.
So fast forward, Brian comes to Houston while I'm working in logistics, and he's over there spending all of his retirement fund at 30. And he's like, man, I've got the right blends. Here they are. This is perfect. And, we try them. They're like, wow, this is really good. But who's making it? Well, I don't know. How are we paying it? I don't know. Well, we got to keep working a couple of years to make it happen. So we had this whole crazy idea. We had cigars. We had our logo, but we needed the funding. And we just wanted to do it on our own because it was something we wanted to do together and when in the right time. And so, of course, we continue to mature. We continue to work in our respective businesses, and then we launched. I mean, it was not until we did a kind of like a soft launch in 2019. We got all the FDA approved. That's the other part of it. We did it all on our own.
And you're doing this, by the way, right on the cusp of a pandemic hitting the world.
Yes.
Which must have scared the daylights out of you that you did all of this hard work. And then everything's shutting down.
No, listen to this.
Except for cigar industry, we survived.
Listen to this. We did everything. We even had the cigars here in the United States. We did everything backwards. It was incredible. And here we have the cigars, and we're ready to launch. I said, Doug, we're ready to sell. I got a little order of 25 boxes. They were laughing at me at the factory, and they're like, dude, it's a 25. I said, that's all I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So we have these 25 boxes, and then we get another 25. So we had like 50, and then we realized, he's like, "Do we have FDA approval?" I'm like, "What is that?"
No.
No, no, Jeff.
It was,
Jimmy.
it was a. Can we say words here? Can we say?
You
Yeah,
say
I was gonna say.
want to
It was a
say.
shit show. It was a shit show.
It was a shit show. But we're like, all right, we're gonna be cocky and just keep it going, you know. But you can't be cocky with the FDA. You've got to do it the right way. So we went through it. Brian, you know, we're pretty good about reading things and implementing. And so we read, you know, we could have paid a lawyer like 50 grand, or we could do it ourselves. I have to be honest with you. A lot of people helped us along the way. Nestor Plasencia was instrumental in getting us in, you know, where we needed to be and guiding us. You know, he's a fellow Honduran as well.
Sure,
and
he wants to sell more leaf.
Yeah, you know, but he could matter what he's, you know,
He's
I
a
think
beautiful man. I love Nestor. Love the whole family.
Oh my God, they're such great people, and they gave us the opportunity. Say, "I like your logo. I'll give you a chance and an opportunity and see what you can do." And he introduced us to his cousin, and that's where the boutique factory at San Judas Tadeo in Danlí. Incredible people, you know, employs over 50 people there, and we're just glad to be able to support the local economy, and it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so Nestor mentioned to us, he's like, "Look, you won't produce a whole lot, so we're not going to take space out of our factory. But here is, you know, our cousin Raidel and the group, and we've made it our own, Boss and Jimmy. We've, you know, these guys, you know, it's very seldom that you can find a factory where you can literally go in there and build a relationship where we've met the whole family. We're staying in their homes when we go down there, you know, and we just, you know, I think the part that people forget, it's all about the blends and everything, but I think most of it is relationship based, you know, because there are things that you have to live, you have to fail a little bit to understand, and spend the time to be able to create something that's going to be not only good for 6 months, a year, but a legacy that will last for our children, right? And so we wanted to create that foundation. Brian and I go to that factory, and it's our factory. I mean, we see it as our we walk in there, we've got the big Bocock Brothers logo, and we say, Brian, we contemplate sometimes, like, should we make our own factory? And, you know, is that the next step? And Brian's like, no.
You already got one working for you, doing good work. Do you?
Fantastic.
So you started with, like, you know, this little 25 box here and there. What are you at now? What are you producing out of that factory now?
Yeah, so we're in the vicinity of 2,000 to 2,500 boxes a month is what we're doing today.
Okay.
Depending on the month and how fast they can get them out, right? Of course, the cedar, the boxes and all that. So but yeah, we you know, year one, our ramp up chart look, you know, steep, and you know, we want to grow, but we want to grow consistently. I'm sure we're going to get into that, but yeah, about let's call it 2,000 boxes per month is really where we're on right now, and we're at about, you know, 80 to 100 locations throughout the U.S., mostly in the South, Boston, Jimmy. So, you know, I know you're, you know, in Boston, but you're in Florida.
I'm in Florida, man. You come on down to me. Come on over. Come on.
Yeah, we've got some.
I got dinner waiting for you here. You come here and let me know. My wife will make you whatever you want to eat. She knows how to cook. Like,
where's your wife from, Boston, Jimmy?
She's also from New York. The both of us are from New York, from Long Island.
Yeah. We talked about he grew up in Brooklyn as well, Brian.
Oh, nice.
That's why you hear the accent in Brooklyn. It's in there, man. So you know, and he's in close to Titusville, where there's a place called Leaf, where I believe one of our distributors there has product at our RBS. So we've just partnered up with the right people. We're not going fast, Boston. As a matter of fact, we are at Stogie's in Houston right now, our flagship store. I don't know if you're familiar with the guys, with the people here, Jorge, Ahued, and and
Yeah, I don't
Jenny.
know them personally, but I know of Stogies.
Yes, of course. We told them we were doing a sort of a podcast with you.
They gave us a bottle.
They gave us a bottle.
Here. They gave us a bottle of Zacapa 23. Set us up with a nice conference room.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
Very cool is that.
So they were happy that we were doing it here, and we're here to support them. And of course, the Final Four is going on, so everybody's screaming outside.
Yeah, that's probably where my guest host is watching, because he's all up in Duke right now, so he's all going for Duke.
Watching replay.
You'll have 0 viewers today because but yeah, I mean,
they're coming in. They chime in. A matter of fact, Lena Adams, one of my great followers, says if they are friends with Nestor, they must be good people. Met him once, friendly guy.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And Anthony James says, how long have you guys been in the cigar industry?
Since 20.
So yeah, 2012 we started, right? 2012
we launched our first blend.
Is when we first launched our first blend, but we were not in the U.S. market until January of 2021. That was our first import. Legal import and everything before we were bringing on
legal import.
Legally brought in. That's when you came
Right.
to DPE, you showed it all off, and that was the actual official U.S. launch.
That is correct. And so we're in Honduras as well. We're in locations there. Of course, that's our hometown. They love our stuff, right? We do golf tournaments there. We work with local, but we're very strategic as well where we want to place our stuff, Boston Jimmy. We don't have a crazy production capacity, and we just try to do it. It's not gonna, like I tell Brian, this is a passion project. We would probably be living under a bridge right now if we were counting on, but we are investing back into it. And we've got exciting stuff that we're working on, which at some point we'll talk a little bit about, but it's a passion, man. We love it. We've met wonderful people. We do private labels in the oil and gas industry here in Houston. We host a lot of golf tournaments.
Big deal, right?
We do charity events. We
sponsor underprivileged children in sports. So we do some tennis sponsoring, and one of them has actually won a Central American Championship for 10 years old. Another one is a golf tournament where we allow the caddies. These children are 16, 17 to 20 years old, caddying for members of this club. So what we like to do is we like to turn it around and sponsor them, give them the gear, and have them play against the members. And it's a wonderful thing because they beat the hell out of them. And
yeah, and it bugs the shit out of them. Man. We see some of the members in Honduras just throw their clubs, and they're like, "How did this?" Yeah, I was like, "Guys, that's it creates that." And so we're excited, man. My phone blows up with all the underprivileged caddies and stuff that want to. When are you guys coming back? When are you guys doing this again? So a lot of the stuff that we sell goes back down to it, and we support our community that we're from, which is La Lima, a little country, a little city.
Banana.
It's a banana
republic, little banana town where U.S. citizens, Americans lived while they worked for the United Fruit Company, and that's where it all started. That's where the Chiquita bananas. Unfortunately, the Chiquita bananas left the Honduras, but during that time, it was a booming time. There was a golf course. And we're trying to keep that going.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. But do you play golf, Boston Jimmy? Is that something?
It's funny you should bring that up. I actually was at a charity golf tournament last weekend for a family friend of my daughter, who her husband died of COVID last year. So we're doing a big fundraiser to raise money for the family for the 1-year anniversary. And I've sponsored a hole, and I donated a bunch of cigars to raffle off. So we raised some good money, but I don't golf. I had to rent clubs, and I'm out there with me, my daughter, my son-in-law, and my 12-year-old grandson. And my 12-year-old grandson's pretty damn good. I mean, he knows he can stroke the ball. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't always, but when he does, he gets better strokes than I'll ever get. Mine, I lost 17 balls in 15 holes. So, But it was a very difficult course. Don't get me wrong. Anybody will tell you that this particular course, there was like water, big water. It's like beaches of sand traps and nothing. And only like 2 holes would be straight on. Everything else was like curved off to the side, go over a bunch of water, go on the green. I'm like, come on. Are you kidding me?
Where did you play?
Huh?
What course did you play?
I can't remember the name. It's down in Vero Beach, Florida.
Okay.
That'd be beautiful.
Sounds like fun.
So it's a fun golf course to play on if you're into the game. You know, it's going to be frustrating for even a mediocre golfer. It's challenging for an expert golfer.
Sure.
But I always tell people my best game ever was an 81, and that was on the back 9. So
I was about to say.
Wow.
but I have fun. But because I don't take it seriously, I'm not the guy breaking golf clubs because I missed I
Right.
missed a par 3 that turned into a par 6. You know, so
Yeah.
you know.
Boston Jimmy, we're on the same boat. We're pretty shitty golf players, to be honest with you. We just hype everything up and we get excited and we've got all the gear for it and everything. But so when we get there, we're like, no, we're not playing golf. We're just gonna hand out cigars, guys, and let me just throw a couple of. And that's it. We just hype things up, man. That's it.
And that's kind of what I'm
gotta try.
and I've got a cigar in my mouth from the start of the golf course to the end of the golf course. And like even my friend's my daughter's friend's brother who ran the whole thing, you know, he's driving around in a golf cart just checking up on people, how they're doing. And he goes over and he looks at me, he goes, "You're the first guy I've ever seen that has a cigar in his mouth and you're driving and you're putting. You never take it out of your mouth." I said, No, that's me. Look at the sign behind me. That's it. That's who I am. What are you gonna do?
So you're one of those that needs those cigar caddies. You know what I mean? They're pretty fun. They're pretty.
I have another one. Yeah, there's a cigar caddy, but there's another one that I reviewed, and I actually should have brought it out if I knew we were going to talk golf in that. But it's a really cool one where you can take the top off, and it has a little magnet, stick it on anything metal, and you can stick your cigar in it. And what happens is on the bottom, there's a little grid, and the ash just kind of pushes down and goes into the bottom of it. And it keeps, you basically could take this thing, it snuffs out the cigar almost immediately without any pressure or anything. And then you could just take it and like bring it into a restaurant, just sit it on a table while you're eating dinner. And then when you leave, you take it, you pull the cigar out and smoke it.
That's pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. Good. Oh, you're going to have to send me the link for that.
I'm going to have to show you the link. I'll have to bring it up.
Absolutely.
Let me give a big shout out to the sponsors of the show. And then when we come back, we'll get more into your story and we'll see how you're going to scale in this business of many players. So today's show is brought to you by, and I'm going to organize myself. Okay. It's brought to you by Rodriguez Cigars of Key West. Rodriguez Cigars of Key West. Founded in 1947, the Rodriguez family began the masterful art of cultivating tobacco on their private plantation in the town of Siguane, Cuba. By 1952, their finca employed over 20 workers and grew over 120,000 pounds of tobacco annually. 8 years later, the Cuban government nationalized the private plantation and the Rodriguez family was forced to immigrate to the United States. 1971, the family found new beginnings in the beautiful island of Key West, Florida, and established the Rodriguez Cigar Factory in 1984. It stands as the oldest cigar manufacturer in the Florida Keys, preserving the historical cigar manufacturing industry that began in Key West in 1831. Of course, years have passed, new generations of family members have expanded manufacturing to Nicaragua, and they're now proud to be working with some of the finest tobacco in the world. So the next time you're in Key West, check out Rodriguez Cigars, Key West, Florida, and you can check them out at www.rodriguezcigarskeywest.com. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Drew Estate.
Get ready, because Drew Estate is back and better than ever. with a party so big that only the Lone Star State can contain it. Music, spirits, mouth-watering barbecue, cigars galore, and so much more. It'll be the most epic shindig there ever was. Barn Smoker presents Savage Feast, October 22nd at the South Fork Ranch, Dallas, Texas. Get your tickets now at barnsmoker.com.
And if you haven't gotten them, they're going fast like they said. So check it out, barnsmoker.com. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Cigar Medics, the maker of the cigar humidimeter.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Excellent device. Everybody should have one. I do, and many that I know enjoy it. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at the Cigar Clowns Facebook group. Now, if you're not familiar with the Cigar Clowns, they're inviting everybody to come along on their journey to find the perfect cigar. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of their limited releases, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't had one, stay tuned to their page, and when a run drops, they will go quickly. In fact, the last one sold out in minutes. Good conversation, great people, and smoking cigars. Why wouldn't you want to be part of such a group? So they'd like to invite everybody, all brothers and sisters of the Leaf, who share the same love as they do for cigars, to come over and join them at Cigar Clowns on Facebook. And if you're checking out on Tuesday nights, they usually have a Taste Test Tuesday where they have a panel of fans and members that sit down and smoke blends before they ever decide to put one of their bands on a cigar. So you know you're getting something good. And lastly, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova, resulting in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather, to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars at www.novacigar.com and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. I'd like to come back to our friends, the Bocock Brothers, and I want to thank my sponsors, for without them, this show is always a little harder to do. Okay. Let's talk scaling. So 250, I know you don't want to scale fast, but you want to scale steady. You're looking right now primarily in the southeast part of the United States. Where's your next market, big market plan you want to take you?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, Boston, one of the things that when we started this business, we wanted to make sure that, and because of the advice of a lot of people that obviously have opened up their doors for us, including Jorge Ajuera at Stogie's, a lot of the advice is, guys, you don't want to look at trying to make it too fast, too big, too fast, right? I think for us, it's all about, we got into this business because we really enjoy the people. We enjoy the camaraderie. We enjoy getting in front of all of these humidors where we can and spending the time doing cut lights when and where we can. But also just showing up uninvited and just say, hey, guys, what are you smoking here? So for us, it's really not about trying to grow as much as others, perhaps. Most of the distributors that we work with have really come to us. They really enjoy the price point. It's a cigar that, the portfolio, the World Traveler, you're looking at really good premium cigars for under $9.75 retail. And so, we want to keep it that way, right? So we also don't want to dilute the brand by just kind of being everywhere. So we're trying to be strategic. If we're going to be at this location, we don't necessarily want to be right next door, because we want to give that particular shop the ability to bring in people because of this cigar, and then we've had a lot of success doing so.
So you should give them some regional
right
space, like in
Correct.
Florida, we've got shops on top of shops. I mean, they're everywhere, and you're right. If you got a small brand, whoever's if you got the first one to take you on, you got to pay loyalty to each other.
You do, and we have something very similar. We're like, for example, Industrial Cigars in Frisco, Texas. Those guys really,
awesome guys.
They helped us when we first started. They believed in us, and we have success there. And they of course, sell a great amount of our cigars, and the people there are fabulous. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go to Dallas, you got to get out to Frisco, Texas.
I was just there last week.
Oh, really?
I was in Dallas. I was at the Silverleaf in Fort Worth, and of course, my friends at the Underground Cigar Shop also in Fort Worth.
Yeah. So Underground. Yeah.
Shout out to Ninja and Dan over at the Underground. We're actually there as well, and we do well. We love those two shops.
It's great.
They love our Maduros.
I have a brick on the wall too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sponsored the making. I feel I gave my little bit to sponsor the making of the new shop. So I have a brick that says congratulations in Boston Jimmy Stogie Press.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big deal. I know Bill Murray also has something. So it's so you're right there with him.
I'm in there.
Where we see our growth is obviously continuing to work with the brand, with the shops that we already have. We're also growing internationally. We're going to be, we're considering going to the tobacco conference in
Dortmund?
There's a lot of requests for this brand. I think, with the whole Rooster, and they love their branding and love cigars. Asia has become a market that folks really want us there. Europe as well.
Well, the Europeans have really begun to shift their palate, right?
Yes.
They were all Cuban, and now they've been paying a lot of attention over the last 5 years or so to all these things we talk about here. They're watching our Facebook feeds and blogs, and they're like, well, how do we don't have these, right? And
right. Oh, thank you for that. You create a platform to, and so, yeah, they want the boutique. They want flavor forward, right? They get that it's not about, what you're going to have a communist country, create the most wonderful cigars. That doesn't sound like that would be the case, right? So, the best cigars come out of, in my opinion, countries like Honduras and Nicaragua, and other than Cuba. So, the
Dominican,
probably, but the best thing that ever happened to our tobacco industry was, Cuba going into, obviously, taking away all of the rights of the people. So anyway, Brian's hitting me over here like, you don't want to talk bad about Cuba.
No.
But we're being cocky here. We're being cocky here. But no, absolutely. I think for us, the way we scaled Boston Jimmy is by organic growth, key partnerships in the different regions, obviously expanding into other countries where it makes sense, and just doing what we do, having fun, and Brian can talk to you a little bit about our growth as well.
We have a lot of fun. We go to really crazy places. For example, we've been to soccer matches where we've been invited. We were at the Formula One at the Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, and we were actually where Max Verstappen came in on the boat to celebrate. Everyone was smoking Bocock cigars.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool.
So we've done some cool stuff, like out of the ordinary. And the thing is, both Doug and I are in the oil and gas industry. So we have the advantage to be able to travel. We sell our products and services worldwide. I wanted to say prestige worldwide, like Catalina wine mixers all over the place. But it's fun for us. We don't go to places and, okay, we have to sell, we have to do, we have to meet this quota. We are on a different timeline, and it's more about, do people love it? Do we need to fix some things? How do we grow organically and do it right, rather than try to get as many people to smoke our cigars. So I think that's the key to our success, and doing it slowly. I wanted to talk about our future progress, our future blends. And we were, I went to Nicaragua because, you have to, we have Honduras down. We did a good job there. And
we're always going to champion Honduras, right, Boston?
Yeah.
And nosotros somos, we're Honduran, born and raised, parents still live down there, families still down there. So Brian spends literally 6 months out of the year in Honduras at the factory. If not at the factory, probably hanging out with some girlfriends or whatever. That's him, whatever.
Looking for that next nightclub experience. Is that?
Are we live right now, Boston Jimmy?
We are live.
We're not live, right?
We are 100% live. And Mama and Papa are watching, I heard.
Oh goodness. But he's having fun. We're having fun with it, because if it's not fun, Boston Jimmy, then what? We're gonna do something else.
If it becomes a job, then it's, you know what I mean? That's what
it's our name on the box, right? It's our reputation. And so that in itself can tell you right now the passion that we have, because it's not like we can say, okay, well, this crap failed, let's open up no, you can't have a Bocock Brothers 2.
No.
This is not this is a life thing, right? I have a 3-month-old and I want this to be a legacy for him. And so we're creating it, but it has to be fun. If it's not fun, Boston Jimmy, then we're out, man. We're out.
So let's get into the new blends, but I got one question before we get there, right? Before we get into what the future of Bocock is. Watching you two, the dynamic duo here, you remind me of my brothers when I was growing up, which is funny. But I can only imagine, what is it like to go to a Bocock cigar event?
Oh,
walk me through an event that you guys have.
Well, it's a shit show. So we've created a cigar club here in Houston, Texas, right? We go to this little restaurant, and we
always get kicked out. We always get kicked out. So we have to switch locations. We started at McCormick Schmidt's, got kicked out. We went to Moxie's, which is a famous little bar here, kicked out. They all hate us because we're all smoking, and families and their children. And we're just cutting out.
It's all oil and gas people, right? It's all people in the industry. So this is really our fun event. Like, hey guys, let's get together and let's do this. And we get about 15 to 30 people depending on the day, and we're just honest with each other, and we just have a really good time. Drinks are flowing, and it's a good time. But if it's a for example, a golf tournament, for example, we're actually going to one on
Saturday.
We're actually going to Rigby's in Dallas, which is Paris, Texas. We've never been there before, so they invite us. We're headed there, and we're having a cool event with the folks out there, JD Mars and his team. And then, of course, Gary. And then we're headed down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right? Where it's LSU College, right? Full on Fred's, which is an important bar. I don't know if you've ever been down to Baton Rouge, but I went to school down in Baton Rouge, right? So I'm an LSU guy myself.
Yes, I know. I know like New Orleans, and I know Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Okay.
Because I was in the defense world for a while, so I know what a shipyard looks like. And
okay. so we're getting down there. It starts at 7:30, and if you know anything about the folks down there, it's Bloody Marys flowing at 7. mimosas. You go out there and it becomes a world of fun. Everybody's
Crawfish.
smoking. There's a crawfish bowl.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking about jam.
Oh, no.
And we can step it up.
Jambalaya, you got some jambalaya going too?
Red beans and rice, but mostly, the crawfish. And we just have a good time. Just
And we give away more cigars. When you look at the numbers, we probably give away more cigars than we actually sell.
More
to be
hats.
honest with you.
More.
I'm not even joking. We probably, and I tell Brian, we got to take it easy. So we've got these Bocock Brothers hats. People will buy cigars just because they can get one of these because when they buy a box. So it just becomes a fun event.
People really just want to be cocky, you tell them.
Yeah.
They just want to be cocky with us, I mean, why not?
Let's be cocky. I love it.
It's fun. Please, we'll invite you to the next event. Brian wants to do like this big launch for our new cigar, which we'll talk about.
Let's talk about that.
He wants to be so big, Boston Jimmy, that I'm looking at the finances like, and this is real deal. This is a real deal. Brian, this is just not. This is how we, this is how we lose money. This is how we go under. He said, no, but we have to invite,
the price of a barrel of oil and gas, you guys should be rolling in money.
No, well,
no.
It's the owners of the companies. They're doing well. We earn the same salary. We're pleading for a raise now.
Crazy.
Inflation has been crazy. Yeah. So that's why I live in Latin America as well. The dollar goes a longer way and get paid in dollars while I'm there. So I don't have to drive my car here in the U.S.
You ride a horse?
I'm sorry?
You ride a horse out there?
Is there much? Yeah.
So you'd be like Lito Gomez on the horse, riding it through the fincas.
We're doing some cockfighting on the side too to hustle for it. You know what I mean? It's just whatever we can do. But
whatever we can do. But going back to the new blends, I'll take a little bit. Tell you a little bit about it. So in my time in Honduras, I was able to go to Nicaragua, and which takes 3 hours to go through customs there. And they wanted a $200 for a COVID test. So, I had to make one up, and it's just a disaster. It's just an experience to cross that border. But we made it to Esteli, and I went there, I would say 4 or 5 times to meet with different factory owners and wonderful people who took us in. My God, the difference in factories and the discipline and the beauty of the factories. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable what they have there, night and day, compared to what we have in Honduras. Unfortunately, just frankly speaking.
Fortunately and unfortunately, there are pros and cons to both, and we probably don't have the time to get into it. But Honduras serves its purpose, but Nicaragua is absolutely a step up from a manufacturer standpoint. Go ahead, Brian. Doug likes to. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was on low. He's probably saying, Brian, you talk too much. But I went there about 5 times, met with different factory owners to decide which will be the next Bocock Brothers blend. We were looking to expand. We did 3 in Honduras, and we want to do another 3 in Nicaragua. And after after several years of looking, going back and forth and trying to figure out and speaking to many owners, which I want to thank, because they gave me some blends and I tried them, and we had wonderful experiences through a mutual friend, through Jorge and good contacts. I was able to get a meeting with AJ Fernandez. Not easy. He is very busy. It was very complicated, but he was always on this, always worried about where I was. Did you cross the border? I'm waiting for you. Don't worry, have lunch, relax. I'm going to be here for you. I know that you have a meeting with me. So we went there. He told me he was very busy. His factory is jammed. He produces about 150 to 180,000 cigars a day, and he has purchased several new plantations. He's up to 9 now. So we wanted to, something with Doug. I said, something that we need is to never run out of product. That's an issue that's been ongoing. We've been working to ensure. That's why we don't want to scale up too fast, because we don't want to disappoint our customers and say, oh, can you send me some Maduros and some Habanos? Oh, we actually don't have any, not till, we don't know when. So we wanted to make sure that we were partnering up with the right person, and who better than AJ, open up the doors. Long story short, he agreed. He liked the branding. He liked the rooster with the bow tie. He liked the whole story. And he says, I myself struggled when I was younger. I didn't come from a family of richness. I didn't, this is not this. I didn't inherit this. My father and I worked really, really hard to have what we have right now. And your story reminds me of mine. And I want to give you a shot. And, fast forward, we've been working with Freddie Molina, his master blender, really nice guy, gave us a tour of the factory. And he and I have been very close in developing a new blend, which I have been flying back and forth to Nicaragua, to Esteli, to develop. So we have, coming up in probably May, June.
It always keeps moving up, right? But it's probably June 1st. We should have,
around June time, we should have the new Sumatra, Bocock Brothers Sumatra blend, made by AJ Fernandez factory. And here we have a prototype here of the box, and it's a beautiful, Sumatra blend. AJ Fernandez, Nicaraguan, fully Nicaraguan Sumatran wrapper.
So this is Ecuadorian. This is a Nicaraguan Sumatra.
Nicaraguan Sumatra, yes, with a binder and filler for all Nicaraguan. We wanted to do a complete Nicaraguan blend.
Okay.
And it's just absolutely fantastic. We're doing the final tweaks on it, and then they're actually, the boxes are in production, the labels are in production. So we are truly excited to be able to launch this new blend, coming out with 3 new ones, which is the signature edition, in commemoration. Our father's still alive, and we want to do things while people are alive, not after they they pass or anything like that. So we wanted to honor him with everything and put his signature on it. And then we're also doing a San Andres versus Corojo blend. So we'll have 3 Nicaraguans made at the AJ Fernandez factory, and then we'll continue to have the World Traveler collection made in Honduras.
So you're able to get your hands on some AJ San Andreas. Very good. Congratulations.
Yes.
It's not easy to come by these days.
We are starting with the signature. And again, our father, he's 84 years old, Roberto Bocock, and he taught us how to smoke cigars. He used to spend time in Cuba pre-Castro.
Yep.
There's pictures of him hanging out with his boys, the Chiquita Banana, the Great White Fleet. He used to do the rounds to pick up bananas and reefers, and Habana was one of his stops. And man, they used to party out there like crazy, right before there was Facebook and
all
that stuff. And so he knows this is for him, and we're just so happy that we are able to provide and do a signature edition on in commemoration or in homage of him. So very excited.
Now, do both of you work the blend? I don't mean tasting it, but actually work it, or is one of you actually moving into that blending side and saying, okay, hey, check this out? Or do you both get into saying this should be, maybe we should check this leaf or that leaf? How does that process work between you?
Mostly Brian. I try the finished product. I'm pretty much the barometer type of guy. Like, hey, this is gonna do well. This is not, because I'm in touch. I'm mostly on the commercial side. He's mostly on the production. So I have a good gauge of what people want. And Boss and Jimmy, we send out every new prototype to people like you as well, and places like Stogie's and our top partners, and say, guys, what do you guys think about these plants? Because we're not naive to think that we know it all. So we do a whole sort of background on, guys, samples are being sent. Here's a sheet. Please let us know what your thoughts are. How would you rate these? And we get them back, and so it's a process that's lasted a long time. I mean, I told Brian, like, man, come on, we need this. Let's hurry it up. And Brian said, no, we need to make sure.
Don't rush perfection.
Rushing. Yeah, he's like, we need the boxes now. We have compromises. I said, I can't rush the fermentation process.
No,
Aging and
no.
if I pull it out of the,
I've learned.
if I pull it out of there,
how long do you put the cigars, the finished cigars, in the aging room before they're shipped?
it varies, but we put it in the aging room. I want to stay several months before getting it out there.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah, absolutely. If not, if it goes out, it's going to be, it's not going to burn properly. It's going to be forced. It's going to be, it's a very
married yet either. It's just that finished product has to marry together while it's in that aging room. Wheels.
Absolutely.
Which is why we can't, even if we wanted to, Boston Jimmy, scale in a way. I mean, the U.S. market is incredible, right? There is so much, and is incredible. And if you look at the numbers, and we're hoping that this will continue, right? That the whole, the imports of tobacco or premium cigars in the U.S., if you look at it, I mean, in the last 3 years, it's been outstanding.
Back to the 1990s, back to the heyday of the 90s. And we're going to probably surpass that this year if it keeps going, it looks like.
The only one that's had a decrease is actually Honduran cigars. And that's because people, unfortunately have left the country. And it's, like I said, you're going to have only a handful of people that can make cigars there. As you can't do it remotely. And that's the difference. Anyone can, and I don't want to say anyone can make a cigar from Nicaragua, but it's so well structured that you can just, it's an assembly line. It's a machine.
Yeah.
In Honduras, no,
it's a mom and pop operation that's doing their thing.
Oh,
probably.
It's doing part of it. Brian had to go all the way down to Nicaragua to pick up a pilon.
Oh yeah.
From, these
I have to put it in a pickup truck and haul it in, or go help, because they it's crazy.
It's crazy, Master Jimmy. It's crazy. And when we look at everything, we're like, man, this was a huge effort, but we're learning, we're loving it. We create stories, relationships that are going to last forever. And this is a long-term game for us. This is not we want to kill it here today. No, this is we'll look back in 10 years and say, hey, where are we? Look at all the fun we had. And we may be completely broke, but we had all those memories. And for us, that's all that matters, Boston Jimmy.
And I can tell you that the fans that are watching this right now are chiming in. They're loving that Nicaragua Sumatra box and cigars that are in there. That's I can almost feel them salivating right now.
It's an absolute game changer. You're going. You're now hopping into the Mercedes Benz, of the cigars with the construction, with the detail and the flavor. We've sent a few out to several key of our customers, and they've had a fantastic reception to it. So we are truly
smoked it, and being a big fan of Sumatra. Okay. Love the sweetness. I would say, based on the look of that cigar, I'm going to throw it out there, sight unseen, taste unseen. That's going to be a very elegant cigar.
Yes.
It's a box of 10. And Quentin won't get one because he's not here today. But what's in final four? But we're going to send you some prototypes as soon as we get them. We were going to put a little extra ligero to get some more balls. So, our initial World Traveler portfolio is flavor forward mostly. Right. This one, step it up, and it's going to really create, that bigger smoke. It's going to be for somebody that, just appreciates sort of a longer cycle of smoke and ventilation. If you know, I've heard that word before. Use the ventilation, and honestly, it's a game changer for us. It's going to put us in a position where
we're teaming up with AJ Fernandez. It's a big deal, especially from a small company like ours. But they see the perseverance and the knowledge of the region. They've seen that we've done our homework, that we don't just, it's not just a phone call and we just, you know, we're there physically.
Yeah, and all these big guys, AJ and others, they're gonna test you. You know, they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna give you that shot, but they're also gonna test you. They want to make sure that you can move, because let's be real, AJ is in the business of selling tobacco leaf.
Yes.
He's a farmer first and foremost. So he buys plantations to grow tobacco so he could sell tobacco either through cigars or to other places that want to buy his tobacco. So if you can move his tobacco, he's a real happy guy. Right? And the more tobacco you move, the faster you're going to move up a production line and the faster you're going to move to some of the best rollers they possibly can give you.
Absolutely. They have fantastic rollers.
I mean, that's the business, man. That's just business and how we work.
Yeah. All of that, there's that relationship piece, right? I think is so key, right? And I think
business is based on his relations.
It's everything, and if you don't know that, then you should, right? So for us, it's all about that. You know, we, like I told you, we give away more than what we probably sell, but we're doing it because we're having a whole lot of fun. And that's kind of our motto.
Be cocky.
Be cocky.
So let me take another quick break. I want to go through what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press to get everybody up to date. And then we're going to come back and we'll run it through for a little more and kind of close it out. We'll do some lightning round questions with you. I'll learn a little more about the Bocock Brothers beyond cigars and nightclubs. All right. So, so this week on Stogie Press, we had a few reviews I put out. I'm trying to think. I believe it ended here last week. So let's go to the Blackwork Studio. So Blackwork Studio Intergalactic. This is a cigar that I picked up while I was at TPE in Vegas at one of the local cigar shops. This is a Corona Larga. Comes in a 93. This is a $10.50 cigar with a box count of 18. It comes from Nicaragua and it's made at James Brown's factory in Nicaragua. This is an Indonesian Sumatra wrapper with an Ecuadorian Habano and a Nicaraguan filler. Very flavorful cigar. I got nice black pepper notes, cedar, chocolate, cinnamon, coffee, natural sweetness. There was a nice nutty aroma, if I'm not mistaken, some spice and walnut. And I do love that walnut when it comes in. Beautiful looking cigar, well crafted, nice pigtail cap with almost a quad cap on it. It's actually in two different comes in two different Vitolas, a Robusto and a Corona Larga. They're both 1050. I picked these up at the Cigar Box in Las Vegas. You could just see some of the beautiful, nice little semi-closed foot there. Beautiful wrapper. Really nice burn. Little bit of a flat ash cone, but a little bit of a wave. Nothing major. Nice ash carrying through. Comes down. So really, overall, really nice cigar. Nice complex and balance. Comes in at a 93. The second one was, our Bocock Brothers. This one came in at an 89. This we just talked about. This is the Bocock Brothers World Traveler Maduro Robusto. Again, this is coming out of Honduras. We were just talking all about it. It's a Nicaraguan wrapper with a Connecticut binder and Honduran and Nicaraguan fillers. Flavor profile, I enjoyed the flavor profile. Cedar, cinnamon, cocoa, pepper, nice syrupy aroma. Toasted caramel, toasted cracker at the end, and some woody notes in the beginning. I like this cigar from a flavor profile. My main concern with the cigar was the burn. So it did have a little bit of it started with a very thick char line. It started already with a little bit of an off burn. I had to go through a number of touch ups through this. I tend not to want to touch the flame to the cigar. So of course, that's going to be part of my point deductions comes down. So overall, we give this one here an 89 with those multiple touch-ups and multiple off burns that occurred. The next one was this is a small company based out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Troy, and being even with an Italian surname, I'm gonna mess this one up. Troy Niello Cigars, owned by Michael Troianello. Comes in a 90. He's got a number of cigars, very young company. They just started. They're celebrating their first year this now in April. This one here is a Nicaraguan Habano with Nicaraguan binders and fillers. So this is a Nicaraguan Puro. Had a really nice flavor profile with some cocoa, cream, dry fruit, dry leather, floral notes, some natural sweetness, nut aromas, pepper, spice, and an umami note at the end. So you get that savory note in the end, which was quite the transition. Overall, nice looking cigar. I looked at the band. It kind of reminded me of an old a pizza parlor look sign, but he is Italian. I get it. I understand it. Nicely closed foot. It had kind of a wave in the front, but eventually it fixed itself through here as it burned through. Overall, there was a wavy burn. It did get that dryness started to get a bit astringent. And when it gets astringent and they got to start reaching for water, that kind of, turns me off a little bit. And it did have these tangy notes in the front early in the burn. And for me, when those tangy notes come in, it's just kind of like, it's not like a tangy to just like a fruit. It's just this tang, and it just kind of sets the palate, doesn't set the palate up right for what's coming because it lingers a little. But that eventually faded out. So this one came in at a 90. As far as news goes, we had a bit of a news cycle this week. So Thursday, I had a very special Taken It to the Nub show with Jesse Flores. Jesse Flores being originally was the artist for Drew Estate at Subculture Studios. And then what happened was he broke off. He's done his own thing. Now he introduced at this show, he's gone into NFTs. So those are the digital art on the crypto blockchain. He's selling his art out there. He has he's got a page out there on OpenSea called Drip Art Academy. You can watch the show here. He talks all about it. You can check it out. And again, while I'm on this, if you love, like, or share like you do these other videos, there will be a special Wheel of Wonderfulness next Saturday just for this show. You get in the entries if you love, like, or share the Facebook feed that we put out. If you go to the YouTube channel connection here and you comment to put your name in, you'll get in on that also. And he is going to give away one of his NFTs for that show. It's not going to be the $33,000 one that he has, but it will be an NFT. So maybe you have a crypto account. Maybe you need to create one just to do the transfer, but you can join the party next Saturday if you win. So very cool show. It was kind of mind blowing to some people as to what he talked about because he's really taken it to a new level. Crown Heads announces their first 4 kicks in a couple of years. Their Mule Kick 2022. They just announced the release of. Steve Soccer has introduced his newest Muestra de Soccer, the Bewitched. So that's coming and hitting the market now. Vicarious Cigars, haven't heard much from them for a couple of years now, but they've come out with they've kind of relaunched their red label as an edition limitada, so a limited edition one here, and they're making these down at Luis Cuevas's factory, Las Lavas, down in the Dominican Republic. And Diesel announced their latest Sunday Gravy edition, the Gabagool. So that's hitting the market. And our friends at Protocol have announced the Protocol Hard Cold Detective. And our friends over at Dissident have announced a limited release 101 proof Dissident bourbon whiskey being made at a distillery in the hometown of the owner of Dissident, Sin Coburn's home in Detroit, Michigan. And I think that's the end of it. I think the rest is from last week. And then of course we put out some lounge reviews. So I did do a lounge review. We did announce there was a bit of a cigar news and lounge review with a Macanudo opened up a new location in Kuala Lumpur. I will have some more lounge reviews. I just was down in Dallas and Fort Worth, so I've got some coming out of that and a couple of more from when I was in Las Vegas. And then the other thing we've added is to taking it to the nub. So we've added the Stefan Lampere show from the other week, obviously Jesse Flores, and I'll also have the Art Garcia one up by tomorrow as I finish it. And we will be adding Q's Corner here. So Q's Corner is for Quentin Brown, any articles that he wants to write and put out. This is his area. You'll start seeing things fill in here as he gets the desire to write some articles and put some things out. So I gave him a page to enjoy, and he can do what he wants with it and monetize it and do his own thing. So that's all kind of the sharing we're doing with it. So that is the news, reviews, and other things on Stogie Press. Let's get back to Brothers Bocock. Guys, so how's that rum going, man? Holy crap.
We're half a
bottle.
we're half a bottle in an hour. So you can imagine, you multiply that by 3, that's a bottle and a half. So that's how much fun we like to have. How are you, man?
I'm good. I've only on my second glass of wine. And that's about all I'll have because I've kind of completely cut the alcohol consumption way down because I'm losing weight and I'm on this mission. So,
I heard.
So you saw me at TPE. All right. I am down 30 pounds since TPE. All right. Yes. I mean, I'm down to 225 now and pushing.
Congratulations.
And it's going
every
great.
Podcast watching is you get thinner, like the Stephen King.
I just kind of like, eventually I'm going to be like this. Yeah, I don't want to evaporate. Don't get me wrong, but I feel much better.
Oh, good. That's
great.
Stuff.
Great to hear. I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that.
There you go. We can drink to that. Yeah.
Salute.
Salute. So let's
how's that burning, by the way? This Habano.
This Habano is burning beautifully. Okay, so unlike the Maduro, and sometimes that happens in Maduros because they are a thick leaf and they don't always combust the way you want them to.
It's very difficult to make those Maduros in Honduras. I tell you, it's not easy, but we will perfect it, and by listening to people like you and we've come a long way with that Maduro. It wasn't always the best, but we now feel strongly that the flavor, and we appreciate the review, and I know that if it didn't have that, that little small problem there, we would have probably been in the 90s. So
absolutely, because the flavor is there. All right. I mean, it's and unfortunately, when you keep hitting it with the flame, we'll get also kind of twists the flavor around. This right here is cedar forward. Okay, without a doubt, I'm picking up the cedar a lot on it. Some nice cocoa notes that are wrapped in with that cedar. It's got some complexity. It's burning beautifully. The line has been fairly even all the way through. I've never had to touch it up in the show. So yeah, I'm gonna smoke another one because I've just got nothing else to do later. So
Good deal. Good deal.
Fantastic.
so let's do a little quick lightning round. So when you guys were growing up, now how first of all, how many years different are you in age?
Well, 4 years.
4 years. Yes.
Okay.
I'm
So-
36. Yeah.
So did you get jealous of your older brother's girlfriends?
That's a tough one.
Or the other way around?
The thing about it is, Brian didn't really hit his stride until he was older. So by the time he hit his stride, I already had a girlfriend that became my wife, and so I can't in all good. I can't say that I did, but
He liked Alexa. She was the Hooters.
she was yeah.
Yep.
She has
Yeah,
the Hooters
you-
girl. Yeah, that was before I was with my wife
That's
at the
right,
time, so
that's right.
I'm okay. Limitations, but the problem is she was abusive towards him, and then of course you can't have a girl that hates a guy, and so he
She threw her boots with the fur on at me, and she was just
she was crazy.
She's crazy. Yeah,
She was beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful. Brian's always had the most beautiful girl, and I'll tell you, he's probably might be the most eligible bachelor out of here because he's got everything,
Ladies.
and he's looking for a steady one.
But you know what he tells me? Go get one that owns a plantation.
Yeah. I'm like,
Go get one. Yeah. Go get one that owns a
What is this, an
plantation.
arranged marriage?
it's gotta be more strategic now, Boston Jimmy. At this point in our lives, it's not all about
He's
love.
watching Succession and Billions at the same time, so he gets these thoughts in
And
his mind.
inventing Anna too, though. So I'm like, maybe a little bit of that too, though.
Oh yeah.
But no, but a great question. But no, I did not.
So do you have sisters?
Two
Monica
beautiful
and Lily.
sisters, two
Monica and
beautiful
Lily.
firecrackers.
They older, younger, in the middle?
One older, one younger.
Older and younger. Okay.
Mhm. Great question. Great. That was a fun one.
What about how was how did you like their quinceañeras?
Quinceañeras. Well, you know what? They're
Because
kind of
men don't have those, right?
Oh no, we don't.
we-
you don't
not-
get that privilege, right?
no quinceañeras. They were a little Americanized too, though. So our dad wasn't all about the quinceañeras either. So maybe because he didn't want to spend the money. Hey, you spend a whole lot of money on quinceañeras. So my dad was like, "No, we're American. We don't do quinceañeras. I'm not going to spend $5,000 on this thing. What are you talking about? So
Yeah, gotcha.
But Boston Jimmy, we spent a lot of time when we were younger with family in New York and in Brooklyn. We spent a lot of time with our aunt who just recently passed, and and so we remember those days. So we kind of understand a little bit about your culture. How you guys are kind of a little cold, but you guys are warm.
Wow.
You guys are warm. No. You, at first glance, but once you become good friends, I'll tell you, we have
for life.
It's for life. These guys.
I'm going to tell you, New York is nothing compared to when I moved up to New England and Massachusetts.
That's crazy.
Because there, you might have met somebody at work and you're a friend and you might be hanging out at a pub together after work, but then you went home. You didn't get invited over anybody's house for dinner, for barbecue. They didn't bring you into that circle without vetting you for like months.
Yeah.
New York, it's like I meet you, we hang out, we become friends, a couple of beers. Hey, come on over to my house. Well, my wife's gonna make some gabagool. We're gonna do this.
Oh.
You're gonna meet my grandmother, sit on the plastic covered chairs, and we're all gonna have a good time.
But you have to remember, right? So Brian and I, we went to high school in Honduras, and we both left Honduras when we were 14 and 15 years old each. And we came from Honduras, cultural Honduras, to the U.S. into high schools in the U.S. prior to going to college. man, that transition is not easy.
Oh.
Kids are bullies out there, you know.
Did you speak a lot of English?
We spoke English, but it wasn't Americanized English. You know,
So
somebody,
you had the accent and people picked up on it and they were like bullying you.
right, what are you doing here? Why don't you mow the lawn? You know, why don't you do this? You know, I had a disadvantage. I'm a little darker. Brian assimilated much easier because he's redheaded, so nobody, you know. But as
I told him I'm a political refugee from Cuba, man.
So for me, man, I had to, you know what I did?
That's when they asked me, where am I from?
Show you my
Where you, man?
son.
What's the matter with
You got to look at your eyes like you have a fucked in a year, man. Okay. but so for me, man, I had to play football. I had to get into sports to get cool.
You're stealing my other question, so go with it.
You know, how do I get here? I went to Kingwood High School here in Houston, north of Houston. It's a very prominent little community here, and you know, so I'm over here. Well, you know, probably very little, probably 1% Latino in this school, and so you know, it was tough to get. So I was like, all right, well, I've got to do something to get with the cool kids, right? And I remember the football players; they were all so cool. They were hanging out with the good-looking girls and the cheerleaders. I was like, I got to start playing. I don't even know anything about football, but I'll just join because I think I'm strong. I'm short, but I'm strong. So I joined, and best thing I ever did. You know, I still have really good friends from that, from that, and so, but it was not easy.
And he even
You
thought
didn't
that
play football. You didn't play American football in Honduras. You were playing soccer.
I wasn't even playing soccer. I was
smoking cigarettes.
I was smoking cigarettes.
Being a bad,
and being you know,
just in the boys' room, were you?
I was hunting. I was doing a lot of hunting. I was doing hunting as a kid, and
he even got because we each lived with our older brothers, and we want to thank them for that. Yeah. And one day this cop knocks on my brother's door, and he opens up he's like, your brother was running with some beer, and he didn't. I asked him to stop, and he didn't stop. And Doug's like,
dude, it was a bike.
You're on a bicycle. What?
Like, we don't respect bike cops. You don't even get a.
He didn't know a bicycle cop was really a cop. You know.
This is in Houston.
Yeah, it's in Houston. It was Kingwood. The guy was chasing me in a bicycle, and I'm hanging out with it's not a fake ID, right? So I'm hanging out with I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, it was those
Natty Lights.
It wasn't even that. We were hanging out with some girls. So at the time, so it was some those Bacardi Breezers or whatever it was. And I walked towards the house, and I got it. I was like, just leave me alone, dude. I'm going. It's like, you got your idea. It's like, dude, you're in a bike. Like you don't even have a car. Like, what are you talking? No way. Get away from me. What are you gonna do? He's a fat dude. And I walk in there, and all of a sudden, 3 cop cars come out. I'm like, okay, now this is serious. They call my brother, and he had to explain to me, like, you know what? Even if the cop's on a bike, he's still a law enforcement officer. So, culturally, Boston City, there's a lot that I learned, moving to this country. And, here we are, fast forward 20-something years. And now I know I'm scared of the cops. I don't drink and drive. I'm pretty about it. We Uber everywhere. So anyways, that's,
Don't drink and drive, children. Anybody watching, do not drink and drive. It's not a good thing.
Drive for sure.
Never got a DUI. Not that I probably shouldn't have once or twice in my life, but no more.
Yeah,
that's it.
Sure.
Scary.
But
lose your whole life. Yes. Did you in high school? So you both went to high school in Houston?
I went to high school in Florida.
In Florida.
High school, yes.
Well, it's North Florida, Panhandle. So I don't know, being in Florida.
You went to school in Alabama, you're telling me.
With Redneck Riviera. So
yeah, you went in there with Redhead, and everything was good, right?
Everything was good. Everything was, to me. It was okay. For me, it was normal. For him, he was. Where you from, man? He had to fight
What was your hardest subject in high school?
What was that? The hardest
What was your
subject?
toughest subject in high school, or were you all straight A students?
You know, the education in Honduras was really good, really, really good, to the point where we didn't need to study in high school. So none of the subjects were difficult because we were really advanced in Central America, believe it or not, in the private school we went to. So no, we you know, geometry, algebra, all of that was fairly easy to us.
The problem was having all that freedom in college where you don't have to like really worry about anything other than where are you going to party with the $10 you have in your pocket. And can you make it to class the following day? How's your hangover? That was the challenge.
Yeah.
And for me, in order to get the best grades possible, and so does Brian, I had to take a lot of Spanish class, pretend that I didn't even know how to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
That's how we got through college, because we got good A's there. So the D's and the C's, you know, really averaged down to like a B because of the A in Spanish. And so
I understand that.
Yeah.
Now, what do you have your degrees in?
So
my degree is in communication and business out of LSU, and Brian's is
international economics and international business
out of
Florida,
WF.
West Florida.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
So so he's got that Florida ties.
Yeah, so he studied communication, but my cousin, he had his wedding and he didn't invite one of our cousins, and he's like, why didn't you invite me to the wedding? And he's like, well, I didn't know whether to invite you. He's like, what was your degree in? Communication. You could have just called.
Oh, I get shit all the time.
Communication. You could have just talked to. You picked up the phone.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But our business is logistics, and you know, we spent a lot of time right out of school in logistics. So as it relates to bringing in cigars and look, we are really good at that. You know, making sure that we cut costs as where we can. We have good relationship with the steamship lines, Seaboard Marine and stuff. So these are the things that we did. As a matter of fact, we used to help other companies, cigar companies import their cigars. We're working for steamship lines and used to talk to them about customs clearance and, you know, this is how you do, we create a contract and stuff like that. So now that's how we are having some success there, right? We were cutting a little bit of those costs, especially in the global market right now with it being so crazy and the costs being so high.
Yeah, friend of mine is the head of supply chain for a very, very large defense company in the world.
Oh, wow.
And he flat out explained to me that this logistics problem is not going away until about 2023.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Back to
we do.
Okay.
We can get containers moved of petroleum products. I actually, you know, I move his petroleum.
He moves my product that we sell, and that's where we fund this operation, this cigar operation. But we stand alone, and we can do the cigar without having to worry about. But I'll be honest with you, it's if you ever need any help and consultation, we have really good relationships. Houston's one of the largest ports in the Gulf, obviously the largest one, and there's a lot of good contact relationships that we've built. So tell your friend if he needs any help, although I'm sure he's fine.
No, he's fine.
He's got like I think by now is, you know, he's getting ready to retire, but hopefully he could just get his way through like me. But
sure.
Well, guys, this has been amazing, folks. The Bocock Brothers. This has been a fantastic show. It's been entertaining. You guys are extremely dynamic. I mean, I really can't wait to see you guys come up here into Florida, get into a shop, hang out. I mean, just have an event. You are a dynamic duo of what you're doing. Folks, if you've never had a Bocock cigar, you got to check them out. I'm going to have some more reviews on theirs. This Habano is going to be rated, I can guarantee you, is going to be rated higher than the Maduro, just the way the flavor was coming through in this show while I wasn't even thinking about it. My mind will think about the next one, and the burn was spectacular. So you know what? Check these guys out. You're going to love their craft. I want to thank all the sponsors and the viewers, and I'm going to give you guys a quick last word before we wrap it up.
Well, yeah, thank you for the platform, Boston Jimmy. You're a huge inspiration to the industry. Keep doing what you're doing. we're going to keep doing our thing. We're not going to change who we are, and we're going to keep coming out with some great stuff, man. Thank you so much, and thanks for your audience.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, with that, this is Boston Jimmy out. Stogie Press, peace. You all have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week